Okay, here is our original model. So 3 strategies, 0, 30, and 37, right? So that's what we did way back in the beginning of the chapter. So now we want to try 30 and 40. So we'll change that to 40. Okay. And we'll just keep strategy 1, but we're going to only compare strategy 2 and 3. All right. So let's check the settings. Okay. So now we run simulation. Okay, now we are done with simulation. So now we have strategy 1 and strategy 2 here and strategy 3. All 3 strategies are plotted. So let's see. Let's look at cumulative strategy. Okay. Now we want to look at, so let's clear all the overlays. So this is your strategy 1. Okay, we don't want that. So let's click here. So that gives us strategy 2. So cumulative ascending. Okay. And then we will overlay that one. Okay. So now you see the 2 strategies cumulative distribution plotted. So here it looks like strategy 2, okay, which is 30 seats, is clearly beating strategy 3 because at all probability levels, okay, so 30% probability you get more revenue with strategy 2 than strategy 3, except that here there is this flip. Okay, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe there is some loss that happens. So we can plot this and then plot these percentile values and then have a more deeper understanding. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's say copy all, right? So and then we'll paste that here. Okay, so we're going to call this sheet dominance. Okay. Okay, so this is reserve 30 seats. We'll change that. Instead of strategy 2 and 3, let's make it clear what those strategies are. Okay, so here are the percentiles, and for each percentile, so we have the outcome being expected revenue. So now these are 2.5 and 97.5 are the 90%, 95% confidence interval numbers, so we don't need those. So let's get rid of those. Delete rows. Okay. All right. So now we're going to look at these numbers only. Okay, so let's take a look at the difference. (30 minus 40). So we have 30 minus 40, so it will be that minus that. Okay, so let's copy that. Alright, so this is the reason why there was a flip, when we looked at, so that part. Okay, so alright, so does that mean, okay, these losses that we see, right, are they sufficiently large to overcome the profits, or I shouldn't say profit and loss, these between the two? Okay, so the 30 seat dominates 40 in all of these. Does that dominance continue through these in sufficient volume or sufficient value that these deficits, negatives, are not? I mean, we're still ahead with 30. Okay, and if these negatives are too much and it overwhelms the dominance that we had previously, then that's going to be a problem. So how can we check that? Well, let's first plot these. Okay, these are the x values, these are the y values, the differences. Okay, so we're going to plot that. So this will be difference in expected revenue. All right, 30 seats minus 40 seats. Okay, let's have a smaller. Okay, and the percentiles can only go up to 1, so let's change that to 1. Okay, so now to see whether the positives accumulated from 0 to 60, is that sufficient to fill this loss? Okay, so that's what we want to do, and for that what we can do is we can look at the area under the curve. Okay, and then cumulate the area under the curve, okay, from 0 to 100%, and then see what happens. And we're going to do this in a kind of an approximate way. So these are going from 1 to 5% to 10%. So let's change this tick marks to 0.05. Okay, all right. So what we can do is we can look at the height. Okay, and then well, we're going to cut this up into small rectangles. Okay, so 0 to 5. Okay, so that's one rectangle. Okay, and the height, okay, it's not the same, it's kind of slanted, but we will approximate it. So we'll take the average, okay, the first initial height and the ending height within a range. Okay, and we'll average that, which means ending height plus beginning height divided by 2. Okay, and then times the width, okay, which is that, right? So here area under, right? So we're going to now take the difference. So the first one is the width is 5% minus 1%. From then on, it will be 10% minus 5, and so on. Okay. So that's the width. And the height, okay, so we not plus, we need to times that. We are looking at the area. Okay. Now the height is, okay, the initial height is 300, the ending height is 400. So we need to take that plus that and divide by 2. So that will give you the area under the curve, okay, for that first rectangle. Approximate. It's not exact. It's approximate. Okay. Now we copy that. All right. Okay. So the last one will be that. Okay. So these are the area under the curve. So if you find the cumulative value, all right, sum of that with itself, but we will make the first E21 absolute reference. So when we copy at each cell, it will be a copy from the beginning. Say for example here, this will be copy from beginning to that. Okay, at the end, we have copy of all of it. Okay. Now cumulative area. Okay, and you can see now that the cumulative area is all positive. So we know that 30 seats dominates 40 seats. So let's make a plot of that. Okay. Cumulative area under the curve. Okay. So you can see that with 60% probability, you have a significant advantage for 30 seats over 40 seats, and then there is some probabilities at which the 40 seats has an advantage. But overall, 30 seats dominates 40 seats at all percentile levels.